I'm here with Joan Rivers, who's a piece of work. Title of your documentary, Joan Rivers. It's a real pleasure to meet you. Your documentary went over huge last night at the premiere. It's fantastic. The amount of access, what you gave, the access that you gave them, it kind of was unprecedented and so vulnerable, so funny, and so real, and covering your entire journey in Hollywood as an actress, as a comedian, and everything. What made you decide to let them in?
Well, I never say no to anything, just about. And the filmmakers, especially Ricky Stern, her mother's my good friend, so when she said, gee, my daughter might like to do something with you, I said, absolutely fine. And then once we got started, I wanted to do a documentary that was real, if you know what I mean. It isn't like a puff piece. And so I just gave her full access because I knew already what I was getting into. And it worked out very well. Thank God.
It's very funny. And the moments that they caught are great when that guy is heckling you in the audience about, like, I have a deaf kid. How can you just describe, as someone that's been on stage so much, and you say it in the documentary about how you're most comfortable in that moment. What goes through your mind when someone's heckling you like that in that tiny environment?
Well, you have three things to worry about. One, you have to get them to be quiet because they're ruining the show for everybody. That's your heckler. Two, you have to answer them back and make sure they're taken care of without destroying them totally. And three, how do I get my audience and where am I going to go from here? And how can I switch into something totally different? So many things are happening at the same time.
In one of my favorite moments in the movie is when you're sitting around there having a meeting with your staff, and I can't even say it because I can't give it justice, and I know you know what I'm going to talk about. When you talk about Jackie O and you're asking them,
well, yes,
go, you tell it, because
they're jokes, and to be any kind of a joke writer, which I am, I'm a writer originally. You have to let your mind just go when you think, is this funny? Is this funny? Is this funny? Is this too wild? Will people get this? And there was one joke that was very on the fence, so I asked my staff, what do you think? And they all laugh, and they all go, no, absolutely not. And they were right.
And at what moment do you always listen to them? Or, because I know a lot of times people have said, Joan, it's too far, it's too much, but for you, where do you know when to listen and when
You
not?
just know. I mean, I don't ask them that much what they think is funny. When I'm really on the fence about something, I will ask and I will listen to them because I respect what they have to say. I've got a smart group around me, thank God.
Now, when you're writing your jokes out, you write most of your jokes, right? All of them?
I write all my jokes. I buy every now. Somebody sends me in a joke, of course, if it's good, I buy it.
Right.
I'd be a fool not to. Gee, a lady in Wisconsin thinks blah, blah, blah. That's great. The check goes right out to her. But I write out all my new jokes on cards, and when I perform, they all go down on the stage, so I can see what I want to try.
But that's not when that's when you're rehearsing.
No, right during performance. I have pictures of me in Vegas 25 years ago, and I've never changed. There are the cards on the stage.
Can we talk a little bit about Johnny Carson?
Sure.
As I remember,
nobody cares.
I know, but what is interesting to me, everyone cares now because
yes.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Like the NBC implosion?
Yeah.
Because I remember as a child watching. My father always watched The Tonight Show, and I remember watching you always. And you credit Johnny with giving you a career.
Nobody. I was too wild, and nobody would allow me to go on television. I was brought up to the Carson show 7 times, and finally they put me on, not as a comic, as a girl writer. And in the worst spot, the last spot. And he said on the air, you're going to be a star. So I became very much his child, and he was my mentor. You know, he for 20 years I was on that show, always, and we had an amazing rapport. No, he was the best straight man in the business.
But don't you think? I think it was unfair that he blackballed. Like, why wouldn't he allow you to have your own show? I mean, that's basically part of a subject in the documentary. They talk briefly about going over your career when Barry Diller said, Fox, we want the Joan Rivers show.
Right.
And how would you not take that opportunity?
Only a fool would not take their own show after 20 years, of course. Johnny got, you forget, everyone's a killer, everyone's very competitive. I suddenly went from being his darling and his guest hostess to someone coming right up against him, and that's business suddenly. And whatever made him Johnny Carson came out, and I was blackballed from late night. Still am.
What do you think? What do you think about what happened to Conan?
Luckiest thing that ever happened to him.
You think?
He's not that funny. The numbers were going down. He would have ended up a failure and let go. And they would have put Jimmy Fallon in his place. What happened was he is now the guy that was hurt. He's the good guy that didn't want to ruin the integrity of The Tonight Show. He's walked away with $40 million. Not tragic. And every other station now wants him for late night. Oh, it's such a win for this guy.
And what about for Jay? Do you think Jay can go on and regain that?
I think a lot of things happen. I think it's very negative for him. I think people got a good look at him and realize he ain't funny. What's funny at 11:30 when you're tired and you want to go to sleep, you don't want to be annoyed in a way. You can fall asleep to Jay Leno. Doesn't matter because you didn't miss anything. You know, it's comfort. Right. It's comfort TV.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock, you wait, this guy isn't funny. What am I doing?
Right.
Who is this guy? I think that was negative. And also all the rumors about he's not being liked very much came up. To the
suddenly
it all surfaced that he ain't this wonderful, warm, sweet, lovable guy. He has a very small Christmas card list.
How's your Christmas card list?
None. They're all dead.
Oh,
I have maybe 2 Christmas cards I write to myself. Oh, look, they're still alive. Now, I love Christmas cards. I love when they keep sending you their ugly children and they keep growing up and getting uglier. Yeah. It just makes me laugh.
I had a whole discussion about that. Like, do you send it, and then when your kids start to get ugly, do you just stop sending them?
Preteen on. Don't send them anymore.
Right. Cutoff is what, 10 and under? How old's Cooper? Cooper's 10.
Still adorable.
Yeah, he's very cute.
He's just 8, so that's fine.
Right.
I figure we have 2 more years and the pimples start and that horrible little mustache comes. No more Christmas cards.
So this movie, in a sense, is a celebration of you and your drive. And one of the things that I appreciated so much about this is when you talk about show business and how. And actually, Melissa, I thought this was a great quote when she talked about the career as like a sibling.
Absolutely.
Like, it was the career, and how it's not an 8-hour day.
It's 24 hours. Anyone in any business that is truly successful, and I have friends that are fashion designers, I have friends that are artists, they don't stop. They don't say, gee, 5 o'clock, time to go. There's no such thing. You work and you're constantly thinking about it. And that's great.
Yeah, no, it's great. For you, in the lows and in the ups and the downs, and it's obviously examined in the movie, when you've been at the top of pinnacle of success and then not at all, and you talk about the really sadness for you is an empty calendar.
Totally.
And there's that very funny line, like, I need my sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's great.
I always say to my manager. Yeah.
How do you sustain yourself during those times when the public isn't responding to you, or your show's been canceled, or
you just move forward. What else can I do? What else can I come up with? Oh, maybe there's another book I'll write a new script. I got an idea for a movie. Move forward. I don't allow myself. I give myself 24-hour pity party, and then I just move on.
Were your parents like that?
My parents were first-generation immigrants, and so they were very ambitious in other ways. You know, my dad was a doctor, worked his way through medical school. It was a whole other. It was that wonderful vitality that comes in America with that generation that we're here and we can get educated and our children can be better than we are. And that's what my parents came out of.
So for you, did you have, because you talked about your sister who was the youngest.
Youngest, at the time, a woman graduate of Columbia Law School.
Right. And you,
very smart.
They hated that you were in.
Well, they went crazy.
You wanted to be an actress.
Yeah, I was a Barnard, Phi Beta Kappa, and so what?
The actress was like whore in those days.
Still right? is, to a point, till you make it a little, you know. I said to my dad, every time a prostitute would come into the office, she wouldn't say I'm a hooker. Or my dad was a doctor. I said, she would say I'm an actress. So when I said I want to be an actress,
That was it.
they, what are you, out of your mind? If I had said I want to be an astronaut, if I want to be a brain surgeon, they would have said, go for it.
At what point did they reconcile with your acting and comedy?
When I got into Second City, and I was the star of Chicago, for a minute and a half, and they came out to see me, they thought maybe. But my mother would ask people in the audience, do you really think she's good? They just didn't know. Mm-hmm. Do you really think she's good? She would just ask people.
That's funny.
And it was so sweet because they just didn't have anything to connect with.
They certainly once you got to Carson, then
and they lived. I once said to Elvis Presley, "What's the saddest thing that happened?" He said, "My mother didn't see me a star," and I got it immediately. Both my parents lived to see me successful, and that's all a parent wants, that your child's okay.
In that, for you, a very touching moment, you talk about how you really wanted to have respect as an actress, not a comedian.
Yeah.
But now at 75, 76, okay,
whatever,
66, that you realize that as a comedian, you still have a career, and you'll have an endless career. Whereas if you were a dramatic actress, you wouldn't.
No.
You'd be maybe doing a soap, or I don't even know what. There's no more soaps anymore.
I have so many friends that are actresses that aren't working. That's awful. We'll go somewhere and we'll all walk in together and they'll ask these women that were stars, movie stars, stand back and they'll take a picture of me. If you're a comic and you've got 6 good minutes, you'll work till you're dead.
6 good minutes?
If my dog had 6 good minutes, if Hitler came back with 6 good minutes, somebody would say, there's another side to him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you can make people laugh, it's great. It's great.
Have you ever felt bad? Any of the red carpet stuff that you did that you basically invented? I mean, can I almost say that?
Yes.
Realistically,
somebody said, Melissa and I made walking into a building into an event. Isn't that
Absolutely,
nice?
but it created. It's true because there's now it's a slang, a red carpet, and now which I found so interesting. I was at this party and I was actually talking to Julianne Moore, and she was saying about how she's such a great actress and she's fantastic in Tom Ford's movie The Single Man, and she was saying how now these shows become almost an audition. Like you look good because there's so few parts that walking that red carpet and presenting at the Oscars or presenting at the Golden Globes becomes its own job.
Yes.
Whereas before it was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Now it's
such a rat race. And it's also so controlled now because you have right off camera, you have the PR lady. And if I dare to say I didn't like Nicole Kidman's dress, I won't get the PR ladies 4 people behind me.
Right.
So you can't say anything to them, and you can't ask them anything. Can't talk to Brad and Angelina about anything. You can't say you're still drinking blood.
Yeah.
Can't say that. And so it's no fun. It's much more difficult.
Did you have fun though when you
in the
were
beginning?
Doing,
it was great. Beginning, there was nobody else on the carpet but us, and you'd see them. My first interview was John Travolta, and it was like, "What are you doing here? How are you? I'm back. You just coming to the Tarantino film," and it was wonderful. People talk to you about things. Now all they tell you is they have a lucky charm, where they were when they were. They found out they were auditioned, and they loved everybody on the cast. And you want to go, oh, your nose is growing back. It's so boring.
Yeah. I interviewed Ron Galella, who Galella, I think.
Yes,
Ron Galella. Yeah. And it's interesting. He's got a great documentary here about Smash the Camera and his obsession with Jackie O and Redford and Newman and all these people. And we were talking about the difference of celebrity culture, and he said that the stars now don't have the same magnetism. Like now, they don't have the same magnitude. It's so diluted, and that's what that one part you go on and like, who are you?
And you're like, the hell are you?
Yeah.
They all look alike. None of them have that star print. In the old, some do, and you worship the ones that do.
Who are some of your favorites?
Oh, George Clooney, movie star. He walks in a room, and he's in that room. Denzel Washington walks in. Movie star. Halle Berry knows who she is, knows what she's carrying around with her. Used to be Julia Roberts, but she's getting too much folksy now. When you're going to walk that right, I even like Sophia Loren because poor old thing. I mean, just didn't know where she was with the glasses on.
I know,
but she's still. I am the movie star. Hello, hello. She was waving. Hello, hello. No one knew who else she was.
Where am I sitting? What am I here for? Am I in a movie? Yeah.
Hello, I am Sophia Loren, and you are not. I mean, movie star.
I think Bill Maher's a movie star too for me.
Bill, you have to know who you are. I'll tell you who's a movie star. Joan Collins walks into a room. You can like her, you cannot like her. She's there, and watch out, bitch. And I always think, good for her. She's 80 or something.
Yeah, she is. I think. I mean, at least.
Whatever she is.
Yes,
but she
looks good.
She looks good for that. She looks great for that.
So, are you dating anybody?
Yes, but I don't discuss it. At this age, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say am I dating because at this age you could be dead.
Yeah.
You
You've
never
been gone
make a
for
date.
24 hours.
Yeah, never make a date too much in advance. Because you don't know.
Yeah.
Pick me up at 5 if you can.
What are your plans now? This movie, it's fantastic. And the other thing I have to mention is you whether you are a fan of yours or you're not a fan of yours, just the whole film just takes you to in so many different places, and it just that floor to ceiling wall in your house of basically the Dewey Decimal System of jokes. Something, I mean, that's got to go into the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
And I still have, I don't trust computers. When I have jokes, I know that little old Dewey Decimal System, they're still on little file cards, my jokes. I never want to hear the computer crashed. We've lost 29 years of jokes. Don't want to hear that.
When did you first realize that you were funny?
I was on a fishing trip with my father and 3 other, I know exactly when, 3 other doctors. And I was telling them a story. It was maybe 4th grade. And they were laughing, and I knew they weren't laughing at me. I knew they were laughing with me. And I thought, ooh.
That's it?
I knew.
And then from then on?
Always knew I was funny. And I was never the class clown. I was always the class wit. There's a difference. Always the class. So I always sat at the good table because all the in-girls knew I would do the joke. And that kept me in school. That kept me very happy in school.
And so what are your plans now? You've got the documentary, right? So
Documentary.
It's up for sale and in competition and up for sale here?
Yes, isn't that nice?
That's great.
So exciting. I have a new show with Melissa called Mother Knows Best coming out on We. I have another show called How'd You Get So Rich, which is coming back on TV Land. Always doing concerts, never stopping with the concerts. And I do the red carpet fashion reviews. Anything I can think of. What do you want? I'm there. I can do it. I've got the time.
What is your most lucrative endeavor?
God bless QVC.
And that's a jewelry she's
bless
wearing.
My QVC. 20 years. Good, bad.
How much would you estimate you've made on QVC over 20 years?
I don't know what I've made because I just get, percentage. But they've made $500 million in jewelry sales. Wow. It's amazing. They'll show me the figures and I'll go. They once said to me, think of a stadium. One time we sold 42,000 pairs of earrings. It was a special. And they said, think of a stadium in Chicago, whatever it's called in Chicago, and think of every woman in that stadium all wearing your earrings. And you go, they said, that's 42,000 ladies. It's amazing.
It is amazing. And you're still up for anything. So commercials, endorsements,
Oh.
anywhere. And you'll play. Where do you draw your line of where you will not play?
Nowhere. Lenny Bruce, my idol, once said, if it's a Christian Science reading room, you'll make it funny.
That's great. Well, Joan, thanks for stopping by. I have to
Pleasure.
say, your
Lovely
movie is
talking
now,
with you.
it's great.
Thank
it's
you.
great. It's going
Thank
to
you.
sell. I hope everyone sees it.
Hope they do too.
Yeah.